Have you ever stopped to think about the spiritual meaning of the animals that appear in your home? How many times has a bird landed on your window and you felt it was no coincidence? Or perhaps a butterfly flew in just as you were reflecting on life, bringing a sense of peace you couldn't explain. Is it coincidence, or is spirituality trying to communicate with you through these signs? From a spiritual perspective, nothing happens without a reason. Animals don't appear in our homes by chance. Each one carries a symbolism, a message, an energy that may be related to the moment we're living. Nature is a sacred channel, and animals, guided by instincts far more refined than ours, perceive invisible dimensions that human eyes cannot see. Think for a moment, how many times have you seen a cat suddenly appear in front of your house, staring intently at a certain point, as if observing something invisible? Or a dog barking insistently at nothing, as if trying to warn you that there's something beyond your perception. These behaviors shouldn't be ignored because they often convey spiritual messages. And it's not just pets. Insects, birds, reptiles, and even small creatures like ants and bees can carry profound spiritual messages. Each apparition has a context, a vibration, a calling. Have you ever considered that even that little animal you try to scare away could be bringing an answer to something you've been silently questioning? Butterflies, for example, are seen as messengers of transformation and renewal. When they enter your home, they may be indicating that one cycle has ended and another is about to begin. Birds, on the other hand, are often associated with news, freedom, and spiritual connection. A hummingbird appearing at your window could be a sign of hope, joy, and blessings to come. But there are also warning signs. Animals like bats, owls, and even scorpions often appear to warn of heavy energies or to draw your attention to something that needs to be transformed within yourself or in the environment you live in. They are not enemies, but rather guardians of messages that, if you are sensitive enough to hear them, can change the course of your life. Another point many people overlook is the connection between animals and the energy of the home. Homes laden with negative vibrations tend to attract certain types of insects or even birds that herald imbalances. Harmonized homes, where prayer and light predominate, attract butterflies, ladybugs, and even birds that seem to sing precisely to bring joy. Have you ever noticed this happening in your home? What if I told you that even the animals that appear repeatedly in your dreams could be connected to these signs? After all, the spiritual world knows no barriers between sleep and wakefulness. What emerges in your waking life can echo in your dreams, reinforcing messages that shouldn't be ignored. Spirituality shows us that animals are living sources between the human and the divine. They don't speak with words, but through their presence, their gaze, their behavior. The challenge is knowing how to interpret them. Are you paying attention? Are you missing precious messages because you think everything is just chance? Perhaps you now recall an episode where an animal appeared in your home at an important moment. Perhaps it was a butterfly on the day of a big decision, a bird singing in a moment of sadness, or even a strange dog that insisted on staying close by when you needed protection most. If this has ever happened to you, you can be sure the spiritual was there, manifesting in animal form. But after all, what is the true spiritual meaning of these animals? What message does each of them convey when they decide to enter or appear in your home? And how can you interpret these signs without fear, but with wisdom? That's exactly what we're going to explore in the rest of this video. The spiritual meaning of the most common animals that appear in your home, and the messages they may be trying to convey to you. One of the most symbolic animals that may appear in your home is the butterfly in spirituality. It is seen as a messenger of transformation and rebirth. When a butterfly enters your home, it's as if to say, one cycle has ended and another is about to begin. Its presence is linked to the renewal of the soul, hope, and even spiritual visits from loved ones who have passed away. Many people report feeling peace and comfort when they see a butterfly in times of grief, as if it were a hug from the invisible, Another very common spiritual visitor is the birds. Each species brings a different message, but generally speaking, when a bird lands on your window or enters your home, it could be a sign of news or a direct connection with the divine. Hummingbird, for example, carries energy of joy, blessings, and hope. The little bird that sings insistently near the house is often seen as a spiritual messenger, reminding you that you are not alone. The dogs appear out of nowhere, often following someone to the door or lying near the house, are considered spiritual protectors. They sense energies and can be sent as temporary guardians. Cats, known for their high sensitivity, see the invisible and can identify spiritual presences within the home. If a cat insists on staring at an empty corner or lying down in certain spots in the house, it's because there's energetic movement there. But not all visitors bring only light messages. Some appear as warnings. Bat, for example, when it appears in a home, it can indicate dense energy, a need for purification, or even the presence of envy lurking in the space. It shouldn't be seen simply as something bad, but as a sign that it's time to take spiritual action to cleanse and protect the space. Also carries profound symbolism. For some, it's a sign of wisdom and insight beyond the veil, but in many cultures, when it suddenly appears in a home, it's seen as a messenger of intense change, sometimes even as a warning that hidden secrets will come to light. Its presence calls for attention, introspection, and spiritual vigilance. Small insects, as ladybugs and bees, are generally signs of prosperity and good luck. When they enter the home, they announce times of abundance, fertility, and harmony. Excess ants, especially appearing suddenly in unexpected places, can be a warning of energetic disorder and even imbalances in the organization of family life. Another curious spiritual sign is when spiders appear constantly. Spiritually, they symbolize web, destiny, and creation. For some, their presence is a call to reorganize paths and pay attention to life's pitfalls. But when they appear in excess, they can be linked to energetic stagnation, as if something is stuck or blocked in your life. And we can't forget the reptiles, salizards, which often appear on walls and ceilings. They are considered protective, as they feed on insects and prevent pests. But spiritually, they also represent vigilance, adaptation, and cleansing of small energies. When a cobra appears, the symbolism is much stronger. It can represent profound transformation, but also a warning of betrayals or hidden enemies. Each animal has its role and never appears by chance. They are spiritual messengers, signs the universe sends when we need attention, change, or protection. The secret is not to ignore them and learn to interpret these messages. When an animal appears in your home, the most important thing is not to react with fear, but with attention. The first practice is to learn to listen to the spiritual message. Ask yourself, at what point in my life did this animal appear? What was I experiencing, feeling, or asking of the universe? Often the answer lies precisely in this connection. The animal doesn't appear by chance. It manifests as a mirror of your energy or a message from the spiritual. Once you have identified the meaning, it is essential to thank. If a butterfly flew into your home, if a bird sang at your window, if even a stray dog approached your door, say a prayer of gratitude. Say out loud, I receive this message. I accept the protection. I am grateful for the presence. This simple gesture creates a bridge to the spiritual plane, reinforcing that you are open to listening and respecting the signs. Another powerful practice is prayer of consecration of the home. Whenever you feel an animal has brought you an important message, light a white candle in a safe place and pray for its presence to be blessed and that your home remains open only to light. This creates a kind of spiritual filter, allowing only messengers of goodness to approach. You can also attract light animals for your space. To do this, take care of your home's energy. Clean, bright, and harmonious environments attract butterflies, ladybugs, birds, and even cats, which symbolize protection. Use plants like rue, basil, and lavender which vibrate positivity and create a field of attraction for elevated spiritual presences. If an animal appears repeatedly, take it as a persistent message. To repeat is to insist on the spiritual world. Perhaps it's your soul or your guide showing you something you don't yet understand. In this case, be silent, meditate, write down the details, and ask for light to help you understand. Another important practice is knowing when ward off heavy energies. If animals like bats, scorpions, or owls appear excessively, interpret it as a warning that your home needs purification. In this case, perform an energetic cleansing. Use incense, coarse salt, soft music, and prayer to transform the vibration. Remember, they don't come to harm you, but to alert you that something needs to change. And above all, trust your intuition. What do you feel when this animal appears? Peace, protection, joy. Then the message is positive. Fear, restlessness, chills. Then it's time to purify and ask for spiritual protection. Your heart is the best interpreter of the signs of the invisible, because animals are much more than physical beings. They are messengers, guardians, and spiritual allies. When they enter your home, they also enter your story, bringing messages that can transform your life if you're willing to listen.